Do you ever feel like your English is correct, but it just doesn't sound natural? You know the grammar, you have the vocabulary, but there's a secret ingredient you're missing that makes native speakers sound so smooth and confident. Today, we are going to unlock it. I'm your host, Elena. In this lesson, we are going beyond the textbook and into the music of English, the rhythm, the hidden shortcuts, and the real life expressions that native speakers use without even thinking. This isn't just a listening lesson, it's a speaking transformation. Stick with me, and by the end of this video, you will have practical tools that will instantly make you sound more fluent and confident than ever before. If you're ready to take your spoken English to the next level, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on and let's jump right in. When we think about speaking English like a native speaker, the first thing that comes to mind is often the accent. Many learners believe that they have to copy the exact sound of American or British speakers to be considered fluent. But the truth is, sounding native is not only about accent, it is about rhythm, natural expressions, intonation, and the confidence to use English in real-life situations. Oh, if you listen carefully to a native speaker, you'll notice that their speech flows like music. Some words are strong, others are soft, and there is a natural rise and fall in their sentences. This rhythm is what makes English sound alive. And the good news is, you can train your ear and your mouth to copy this rhythm step by step. Let's begin with something simple. Imagine you are asking a friend for their opinion. A native speaker would say, "What do you think?" Notice that they don't always say every word slowly and clearly. Instead, "What do you think?" becomes "What do you think?" The sounds blend together. This is called connected speech. Oh, it's not about being lazy, it's about efficiency and flow. And when you start to practice these small shortcuts, your English will immediately sound more natural. Now let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. First, what do you think? Now try again. A little faster. What do you think? And now one more time, just like a native speaker would say it. What do you think? Do you hear the difference? Do you feel how your mouth relaxes when you connect the words? This small adjustment is one of the secrets to sounding native. Another important part of speaking like a native is intonation. This means how your voice rises and falls while you speak. For example, when a native speaker asks a yes or no question like, "Is that your coat?" the pitch of their voice goes up at the end. Try it with me. "Is that your coat?" Now listen to the difference when I make a statement. "That's my coat." The voice falls naturally at the end. Intonation helps listeners know if you are asking a question, making a statement, or showing surprise even before they understand every word. Let's do a practice exercise. I'll give you 2 sentences and you repeat them with the correct intonation. First, are you coming with us? Make sure your voice rises at the end. Good. Now, second, they are coming with us. Let your voice fall gently at the end. Wonderful. With these small details, your English begins to sound more natural and expressive, just like a native speaker. Another common habit of native speakers is the use of contractions. Instead of saying, "I have a question," most people say, "I've got a question." Instead of saying, "He will be here soon," we say, "He'll be here soon." And instead of saying, "We are not ready," we say, "We're not ready." Or even, "We aren't ready." Contractions make your English sound smoother and faster, and they are used in almost every casual conversation. Let's practice a few together. Repeat after me. "I finished." He'll call back. "You're right. They've left." Excellent. Now let's put him in a little conversation. Listen carefully. We're going to the park. Really? It's not raining. He's bringing the snacks. They're meeting us there. Do you hear how natural that sounds? This is exactly the way native speakers talk in everyday life. But sounding native is not only about words, it's also about culture and expressions. For example, when someone asks, "How are you?" many learners answer with, "I am fine, thank you." And while that is correct, it is not how most native speakers respond in casual situations. Instead, they might say, "Pretty good, thanks." You, or even more casually, "Can't complain. How about yourself?" Learning these small cultural habits will help you sound more authentic. Let's try a role play. I'll ask you, "How are you?" and you answer with, "Pretty good, thanks." You, ready? How are you? Good. Now, one more time, even more naturally. Pretty good, thanks. You. Perfect. Practicing with real life examples like this is one of the fastest ways to start sounding native. Now let's talk about the idea of filler words. Native speakers often use little words like, "well, actually, or like to give themselves time to think while speaking. These words are not always necessary, but they are part of natural conversation. For example, instead of saying, "It's difficult," a native speaker might say, "It's kind of difficult," or "Actually, it's harder than it looks." These fillers give the conversation a softer, more casual tone. Let's practice a few together. Repeat after me. Well, that's a tough question. Actually, I think you're right. It's like hard to explain. Like, it was so cool. Great. Be careful not to use them too much. But when used naturally, they make your English sound more like everyday conversation. Another important step towards speaking like a native is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating exactly what they say at the same time, like an echo. This exercise helps you train your ear and your mouth to move together. It improves your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. For example, you can watch a short clip of a native speaker, pause after each line, and then repeat exactly the same words with the same intonation. Over time, your speech will begin to copy the flow of native English automatically. Let's do a short shadowing practice right now. I'll say a line and you repeat immediately after me, "We should have called first." Again, "We should have called first." Now try it one more time, but say it faster just like me. "We should have called first." Excellent. This simple practice will bring your English to a higher level of fluency. Now let's look at another secret of native speakers: reduction. Reduction means shortening or blending words when speaking quickly. For example, going to becomes gonna, want to becomes wanna, give me becomes gimme. These are not formal English, but they are extremely common in daily conversation. If you listen to native speakers, you will hear these reductions all the time. Let's practice them together. Repeat after me. "I'm gonna be late." "Do you want to grab a bite? Can you give me a second?" "I gotta run now." Did you notice how much smoother the sentences sound? These reductions help you speak faster and more naturally, just like native speakers. Before we close this first part, I want you to do a little self-practice exercise. Think of a simple conversation you might have with a friend, maybe about making plans for the weekend. Now, try to use contractions, reductions, fillers, and natural intonation in that conversation. For example, "Hey, what are you up to tonight?" "I don't know, maybe I'm going to see a movie." Oh, cool. Do you want to come? Sure. Give me a call when you're leaving. Doesn't that sound so much more natural? The more you practice in this way, the more comfortable you will feel. And step by step, you will notice that your English begins to flow like a native speaker's. Remember, it is not about being perfect. It is about being natural, confident, and comfortable when you speak. When you begin your journey to speak like a native, it is important to understand that it takes both patience and daily practice. No one wakes up one day suddenly sounding fluent. It happens step by step through repetition, listening, and active use of the language. The more you expose yourself to natural English, the more your brain absorbs not just vocabulary, but also rhythm, emotion, and cultural style. One of the most effective ways to practice is through listening. Listening carefully to native speakers will help you catch the little details in their speech that you might miss in written English. For example, when someone says, I could have helped you, in casual speech, it often sounds like, I could have helped you. The words blend together so much that a learner might think it is a completely different phrase. But when you listen carefully, you'll begin to recognize these shortcuts. And once you recognize them, you can start to use them yourself. Let's practice a few examples of blended speech. Repeat after me slowly. First, I could have helped you. Now, listen to how a native might say it. I could have helped you. Try saying it with me. I could have helped you. Another example is, what are you doing? Slowly it sounds very clear, but quickly it becomes, what you doing? Repeat with me. What you doing? One more example. Don't you know? When spoken fast, it turns into don't you know? Try it now. Don't you know? These little changes are natural in everyday English, and practicing them will help you sound more authentic when you speak. Another step toward native-like fluency is learning natural responses. Many learners spend time memorizing long answers, but native speakers often respond with short, simple phrases that keep the conversation flowing. For instance, if someone asks, are you busy this Friday? A native speaker might just say, not really, what's up? Or, yeah, pretty busy. Why? Instead of always giving formal answers, practice these quick, casual responses that make you sound more natural. Let's try a short practice. I'll ask a question, and you respond with a native style phrase. Are you coming to the party tonight? Good. You can say, yeah, I wouldn't miss it. Now another one. Do you need a hand with that? You might answer, nah, I got it, thanks. Last one. Was the movie good? A natural answer could be, yeah, it was awesome. Excellent. These short responses are part of daily life English, and the more you use them, the more natural you will sound. Pronunciation is also a key part of speaking like a native. It is not necessary to have a perfect American or British accent, but you should focus on clarity and the sounds that are most common in natural English. For example, the thought sound in words like think and this is often difficult for learners, but native speakers use it all the time, and mastering it will make your English sound much closer to theirs. Let's practice together. Put your tongue gently between your teeth and blow air out for the th sound. Repeat after me. Think, thank, 30, thunder, good. Now practice the softer version of face, where you let your tongue touch your teeth lightly but use your voice. Repeat after me. This, that, those, these. Excellent. The more you practice these sounds, the more natural your English will become. Now, let's focus on stress in English words. English is a stress-timed language, which means that some syllables are longer and stronger than others. For example, in the word banana, the stress is on the second syllable, ba, na, na. If you put the stress in the wrong place, it can sound strange even if your pronunciation of the letters is correct. Let's practice some common words with stress. Repeat after me. Photograph. Now, photographer. Notice how the stress changes when the word becomes longer. Another example. Record is a noun, but record as a verb. Try it. I bought a new record. I want to record a song. Excellent. Paying attention to stress will make your English sound smoother and more like a native speaker's. Now let's move into everyday conversation practice. Imagine you are making plans with a friend. The conversation might go like this. Hey, you free tonight? Yeah, I think so. Why? Want to catch that new movie? Totally. What time? How about 7? Perfect. See you then. Do you notice how short and natural the sentences are? This is how real conversations happen in daily life. They are not long, perfect textbook sentences. They are quick, friendly, and connected. Practicing dialogues like this will help you build the natural rhythm of English. Let's practice one together. I'll be person A and you'll be person B. Ready? Hey, are you free tonight? Good, you answer, yeah, I think so. Why? Now I'll say, wanna catch that new movie? And you reply, totally, what time? Perfect. One more time a little faster. This back and forth rhythm is exactly how native speakers communicate. Another useful tip for sounding native is to learn common expressions and idioms. For example, instead of saying, it is very expensive, you might say, it costs an arm and a leg. Instead of saying, it's not difficult, you can say, it's not rocket science. Instead of saying, let's be spontaneous, you can say, let's play it by ear. These small changes make a big difference in how natural your English sounds. Let's do a quick practice with idioms. Repeat after me. It costs an arm and a leg. It's not rocket science. Let's play it by ear. I'm on the fence. Hit the books. Great. Now let's put them in short sentences. A new car costs an arm and a leg. This recipe isn't rocket science. We don't have a plan, so let's play it by ear. I'm on the fence about which movie to see. I have a big exam, so I need to hit the books. Excellent. The more idioms you learn and practice, the more fluent and natural you will sound in real conversations. Now let's take a moment for another shadowing practice. I'll say a short conversation and you repeat after me line by line. Ready? Hey, are we still on for tonight? I'm not sure. Let's play it by ear. Okay. Does that plan work for you? Yeah, it's not rocket science. Do you see how the idioms fit naturally? Try shadowing the whole dialogue one more time with me, keeping the same rhythm and intonation. Excellent. Finally, for this section, I want you to practice speaking aloud for 1 full minute without stopping. Choose a simple topic like what you did yesterday or what you plan to do tomorrow. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on speaking smoothly, using contractions, reductions, and maybe even 1 or 2 idioms. The goal is to train your mouth and your mind to keep moving in English just like a native speaker would. Remember, fluency is not about speaking perfectly. It is about speaking naturally, confidently, and without fear. The more you practice these steps, the more you will start to feel comfortable, and little by little, You will sound more and more like a native speaker. When people talk about speaking like a native, one of the biggest questions that comes up is confidence. Many learners already know enough vocabulary and grammar to express themselves, but they hesitate, pause too much, or second guess their words. This hesitation makes the conversation sound less natural. Native speakers, even when they make small mistakes, keep speaking confidently and smoothly. That is why confidence is just as important as vocabulary or pronunciation. Let's think about a simple example. If you forget the exact word you want to use, you might stop and freeze, but a native speaker would usually find another way to explain it. For instance, if you can't remember the word sunglasses, you might say, those dark glasses you wear when it's sunny, and the listener will understand you immediately. This is called paraphrasing, and it is one of the most powerful tools for sounding fluent. Let's practice paraphrasing now. I'll give you a situation and you try to explain it even if you don't know the exact word. Imagine you forget the word stapler. You could say it's that little thing you use to attach papers together. Another one. Maybe you forget the word microwave. You could say, it's the machine in the kitchen that heats up food really fast. Do you see how this skill helps you keep the conversation flowing? Paraphrasing is something native speakers do all the time, and it makes you sound confident and natural. Another important factor is using natural timing and pauses. When you listen to native speakers, you'll notice they do not rush through every sentence. They pause naturally after a phrase or when they want to emphasize something. For example, listen to this. I have some news. We're moving to a new city. The pause builds interest and adds natural flow. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I have some news. We're moving to a new city. Great! Adding small pauses makes your speech easier to follow and more authentic. Now, let's move on to another element, emphasis. Native speakers often stress certain words to show importance. For example, compare these two sentences. She didn't tell him that secret. And she didn't tell him that secret. In the first one, the stress is on she, meaning maybe someone else told him. In the second one, the stress is on that, meaning maybe she told him a different secret. The meaning changes depending on which word is emphasized. Let's practice emphasis together. Repeat after me. I never said he was late. Now try changing the stress. Say I never said he was late. Now I never said he was late. Finally, I never said he was late. Did you feel how the meaning shifted? This is a natural tool that native speakers use without thinking, and now you can use it too. In daily life, small talk is one of the most common ways to practice sounding native. Small talk means short, casual conversations about simple topics like the weather, plans, or how your day is going. Even though these conversations seem small, they are important for building connection. A native speaker might say, "Looks like we're in for some rain this weekend." Or, "Any big plans for the holiday?" Practicing small talk will help you sound more natural in everyday situations. Let's try a short small talk role play. I'll start. Hi, how's your week been? You answer, not too bad, just busy. How about you? Now I'll say, same here. I'm looking forward to the weekend. And you reply, me too. Any plans? Great. That's a simple, natural exchange that could happen anywhere. And it makes you sound like a native speaker. Another tip is to pay attention to linking words and phrases. Native speakers use these to connect ideas smoothly. Words like so, actually, by the way, anyway, and, well, help move the conversation along naturally. For example, instead of jumping directly from one idea to another, you might say, "By the way, did you hear about the new cafe?" Or, "Anyway, what were you saying?" These linking phrases give your English a smoother, more natural flow. Let's practice. Repeat after me. "So, what are we doing today?" "Actually, I had another idea." "By the way, I love your jacket." "Anyway, we should get going." "Well, let me think about it." Excellent. Try to use at least one linking word in your next English conversation. It will make you sound much closer to a native speaker. Now let's do another shadowing practice. I'll give you a short conversation with linking words, and you repeat with me. "Hey, are you ready to order?" "Well, I'm still deciding." "By the way, have you tried the pasta here?" "Actually, I have. It's really good." Good. Shadow it one more time, keeping the rhythm and the natural flow. Perfect. Another key part of speaking like a native is pronunciation of connected sounds. In English, words often join together when spoken quickly. For example, instead of want to, we hear wanna. Instead of going to, we hear gonna. Instead of let me, we hear lemme. These connected sounds are part of natural, casual English. Let's practice them again in sentences. Repeat after me. "I want to get some pizza. He's going to be there soon." "Let me see what you bought." "Gotta finish this project. See you later." Excellent. These reductions are very common in spoken English, and practicing them will help you blend into real conversations more easily. Now let's practice fluency with a longer exercise. I'll give you a short daily routine in natural English, and you try to repeat it after me, copying the rhythm and flow. Ready? I'm going to try to get up early, go for a quick run, and then I got to get ready for work. Later, I'm meeting my sister for dinner, and I want to be on time. Try saying it again smoothly without stopping. Excellent. Practicing longer sentences like this trains your brain to think in English without translating. Finally, let's have a self-practice challenge. Choose one short topic like my favorite movie or my dream vacation and talk about it for 1 minute. Use contractions, reductions, linking words, and natural intonation. Even if no one is listening, this practice will make your mouth comfortable with the rhythm of English. Over time, you will notice that you sound more and more like a native speaker. Remember, sounding native is not about losing your identity or your accent completely. It is about adding the natural flow, confidence, and rhythm of English to the way you speak. And with consistent practice, you will get closer every day. One of the easiest ways to practice sounding like a native speaker is to focus on everyday conversations that you might actually have in real life. Let's imagine you're at a cafe ordering coffee. A textbook version might sound like this. "Hello, I would like to order one coffee, please. May I have a medium Americano?" While this is correct, it doesn't sound very natural. A native speaker might simply say, "Hi, could I just get a medium Americano?" Or, "Yeah, I'll do an Americano, thanks." Notice the difference. The second version is shorter, friendlier, and flows more smoothly. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. "Could I just get a medium Americano?" Now try. "I'll do an Americano." Thanks. Excellent. Practicing these natural phrases will help you in real life situations, and you'll feel more confident when ordering, shopping, or making small requests. Let's do another example. Imagine you're shopping for clothes. A formal version might be, "Excuse me, I need assistance. Can you tell me if you have this in a different color?" But a native speaker would likely say, "Hi, does this come in blue?" Or, "Do you guys have this in another color?" Short, clear, and natural. Repeat after me. Does this come in blue? Do you guys have this in another color? Great. Practicing with real situations like shopping or ordering food is one of the best ways to train your English to sound more like a native speaker's. Another important thing to notice about native speakers is that they often use tag questions to keep the conversation soft and friendly. A tag question is when you make a statement and then add a small question at the end, like, "Wasn't it?" or "Haven't you?" For example, "That movie was great, wasn't it?" or "You've been here before, haven't you?" These little tags make the conversation more interactive and natural. Let's practice tag questions. Repeat after me. "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" "You finished your work, didn't you?" "He's a great actor, isn't he?" "We should leave soon, shouldn't we?" Excellent. Tag questions are easy to learn, but they give your English a friendly, conversational tone that feels much more natural. Now let's talk about politeness. Native speakers often use polite expressions in casual ways. For example, instead of just saying, "I need a pen," which sounds too direct, they say, "Could I borrow a pen?" Or, "Would you mind if I borrowed a pen?" These polite forms make your English softer and friendlier, which is exactly how natives usually speak. Let's practice a few. Repeat after me. "Could you tell me the time?" "Would you mind holding my bag?" "Can you explain that one more time?" "Could I get the check, please?" Wonderful. Adding these polite expressions to your daily English will make you sound not only natural, but also respectful, just like a native speaker. Now, let's do a short role play together. I'll be your friend at dinner and you practice responding naturally. Ready? "Hey, this looks good. Could you pass the salt?" "Good, you answer." "Of course, here you go." Now I'll say, "Do you need anything else?" You answer, "No, I'm good." "Thanks so much." Perfect. This is exactly how simple daily conversations sound when you use natural English. Another thing that makes native speakers sound different is the use of phrasal verbs. Instead of using long, formal verbs, natives often use short phrasal verbs like look forward to, get along with, give up, or figure out. For example, instead of saying, "I am anticipating our trip," a native would say, "I'm looking forward to our trip." Instead of, "I have a good relationship with my colleagues," they might say, "I get along with my colleagues." These phrasal verbs are everywhere in spoken English, and learning them will help you sound much closer to a native speaker. Let's practice a few phrasal verbs together. Repeat after me. "I'm looking forward to the weekend." "I need to figure out this problem. Don't give up." "We get along really well." Excellent. Now let's put them in a short conversation. "Are you excited for your vacation?" "Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it." "Me too." "By the way, I can't figure out this puzzle." "Don't give up. We can do it together." "Sounds good. I'm glad we get along so well." Perfect. These are exactly the kinds of exchanges that make your English sound natural. Now, let's take a closer look at listening practice because listening is directly connected to speaking like a native. The more you listen, the more your brain gets used to the natural flow of English. You can practice by listening to TV shows, movies, podcasts, or even short YouTube clips. Pay attention not just to the words, but to the rhythm, the speed, and the way the speakers connect their sentences. Let's do another shadowing practice now. Repeat immediately after me. I don't know what to do. Again, I don't know what to do. Now faster. I don't know what to do. Good. Another one. Do you want to get something to eat? Again. Do you want to get something to eat? Faster. Want to get something to eat? Excellent. This kind of shadowing will make your speech sound more authentic. Finally, let's finish this section with a longer fluency practice. I'll give you a paragraph that sounds like everyday native English, and you repeat it after me. Ready? So, the other day, I had to figure out how to get to my friend's new apartment. I almost gave up because the map was so confusing, but I eventually found it. I'm really looking forward to seeing it again this weekend. We get along so well, it's always a good time. Now repeat it again smoothly and naturally. Excellent. Practicing longer chunks of speech like this will train your brain to think and sound like a native speaker step by step. Remember, it's not about memorizing every phrase. It's about building habits using contractions, reductions, phrasal verbs, tag questions, and polite expressions naturally. Each of these small details adds up, and together they create the flow of native English. When you hear native speakers talking, you might notice that their English feels casual, relaxed, and sometimes even playful. This is because they don't just use formal words and grammar. They add personality into their speech. They use jokes, little comments, and playful language to make conversations more interesting. If you want to sound like a native speaker, it's important to add some of this natural personality into your English too. For example, instead of saying, "Yes, I agree with you," a native speaker might say, "For sure." Instead of saying, "I do not mind," they might simply say, "It's no biggie." Or instead of, "I want to participate," they could say, "Count me in." Or, "I'm down." These small changes make your English sound alive and real, not like something you memorize from a textbook. Let's practice a few of these casual responses. Repeat after me. For sure. No biggie. I'm down. You bet. Gotcha. Excellent. Now let's put them into a short conversation. Do you want to go to the concert on Friday? You bet. I'm down. Great. I'll get the tickets. Oops, I forgot to bring my pen. No biggie. You can use mine. Thanks. I owe you one. Gotcha. Do you see how this conversation feels casual and fun? That is the style you should practice when aiming to sound more like a native speaker. Another important thing to practice is giving natural reactions. In many cultures, learners respond only with full sentences, but native speakers often use short reactions like seriously, logically, awesome, logically, oh man, that's amazing, or what a bummer. These quick reactions keep the conversation flowing and show emotions naturally. Let's try some reaction practice together. Repeat after me, seriously. Awesome. Oh man, that's amazing. What a bummer. Incredible. Excellent. Now imagine I tell you I passed my final exam. You might respond, awesome. If I say, I missed my flight this morning, you could say, oh man, what a bummer. And if I say, I saw a whale on my vacation, you could reply, seriously? That's incredible. Practicing these natural reactions will help you sound more native in real conversations. To practice rhythm even more, let's do a shadowing exercise with a paragraph. Listen, I went for a walk in the park this morning. It was so peaceful and quiet. I saw a few people jogging and walking their dogs. It was just a really nice way to start the day. Now repeat after me slowly and again a little faster. Excellent. Shadowing with rhythm will train your voice to copy the natural music of English. Now let's focus on one of the hardest parts of sounding native: casual pronunciation. Native speakers often drop sounds when speaking quickly. For example, want to becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna, did you becomes didya, what do you becomes what'ya. These changes make English fast and smooth. Let's practice them in sentences. Repeat after me. What do you want to do today? I'm going to be a little late. Did you hear the news? I don't know what to tell you. Excellent. At first, these might feel strange, but the more you practice, the more natural they will become. Finally, for this section, I want you to practice combining everything we've learned so far: contractions, reductions, rhythm, reactions, and casual expressions. Let's try a role play together. I'll be person A, you'll be person B. Ready? Hey, what are you up to this weekend? Not much, just chillin'. Cool. Want to catch a movie? For sure, I'm down. I heard the new one is awesome. Awesome. What time should we meet? Perfect. That's exactly the flow and energy of a native English conversation. Remember, the key is not perfection. The key is natural rhythm, natural reactions, and the courage to speak without worrying too much about mistakes. Every time you practice in this way, you are one step closer to sounding like a native speaker. When you practice speaking English, one of the most powerful things you can do is build habits of natural phrasing. Instead of always thinking about grammar rules, try to think about how sentences sound in daily life. For example, when you want to agree with someone, instead of carefully saying, "Yes, that is also my opinion," a native speaker might simply say, "Yeah, I feel the same way." Or even just, "Totally." This shorter, natural version is what makes English sound smooth. Let's practice a few examples together. Repeat after me. Totally. That's true. I agree. For sure. These are quick responses that help you sound natural and confident, and they are used constantly in everyday English. To practice rhythm even more, let's do a shadowing exercise with a paragraph. Listen, I went for a walk in the park this morning. It was so peaceful and quiet. I saw a few people jogging and walking their dogs. It was just a really nice way to start the day. Now repeat after me slowly and again a little faster. Excellent. Shadowing with rhythm will train your voice to copy the natural music of English. Now let's focus on one of the hardest parts of sounding native: casual pronunciation. Native speakers often drop sounds when speaking quickly. For example, want to becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna, did you becomes didya, what do you becomes what'ya. These changes make English fast and smooth. Let's practice them in sentences. Repeat after me. What do you want to do today? I'm going to be a little late. Did you hear the news? I don't know what to tell you. Excellent. At first, these might feel strange, but the more you practice, the more natural they will become. Finally, for this section, I want you to practice combining everything we've learned so far: contractions, reductions, rhythm, reactions, and casual expressions. Let's try a role play together. I'll be person A, you'll be person B. Ready? Hey, what are you up to this weekend? Not much, just chillin'. Cool. Want to catch a movie? For sure, I'm down. I heard the new one is awesome. Awesome. What time should we meet? Perfect. That's exactly the flow and energy of a native English conversation. Remember, the key is not perfection. The key is natural rhythm, natural reactions, and the courage to speak without worrying too much about mistakes. Every time you practice in this way, you are one step closer to sounding like a native speaker. When you practice speaking English, one of the most powerful things you can do is build habits of natural phrasing. Instead of always thinking about grammar rules, try to think about how sentences sound in daily life. For example, when you want to agree with someone, instead of carefully saying, "Yes, that is also my opinion," a native speaker might simply say, "Yeah, I feel the same way." Or even just, "Totally." This shorter, natural version is what makes English sound smooth. Let's practice a few examples together. Repeat after me. Totally. That's true. I agree. For sure. These are quick responses that help you sound natural and confident, and they are used constantly in everyday English. Another thing that makes a big difference is using the right tone when you speak. Tone is more than just pronunciation. It's the feeling you put into your voice. For example, if you say, "I'm so excited," with no energy, it will sound flat. But if you say, "I'm so excited," with a happy, energetic voice, it will sound natural and alive. Practicing tone helps you add emotion and life to your English. Let's practice a few phrases with tone. First, say it with excitement. "This is the best day ever." Now say this with surprise. "No way." Next, say this with disappointment. "Oh, what a shame." Finally, say this with happiness. "I'm so happy for you." Excellent. Paying attention to tone is a big step towards sounding like a native speaker because tone carries meaning even more than words do. Now, let's look at how native speakers often use simple linking words to make sentences feel smoother. These are little words like so, well, actually, and anyway. For example, instead of starting a sentence with no connection, a native speaker might say, "So I was thinking we could go to the beach." Or, "Anyway, I'll call you later." These linking words are small but powerful tools to make your English sound more natural. Practice with me. Repeat after me. Well, let me check. So, what's the plan? Actually, I changed my mind. Anyway, it was great to see you. Perfect. Try to add one of these words the next time you speak English. They give your sentences the same flow that native speakers use without even thinking. Another important thing to practice is how native speakers naturally shorten words in casual English. For example, going to becomes gonna, want to becomes wanna, did you becomes didya. These reductions make English faster and more natural, and they happen constantly in real life. Let's practice reductions now. Repeat after me. I'm gonna watch a movie tonight. Do you want to get some pizza? Did you see that email? I gotta run. Great! At first, it may feel strange to use these forms, but with practice, they will start to sound natural in your own speech. Another step towards speaking like a native is improving rhythm. Rhythm in English means that some words are stressed more than others and the smaller words are said more quickly. For example, listen to this sentence. I want to buy a new phone. The stress is on want, buy, and phone, while to and a new are softer and faster. This rhythm is one of the biggest differences between learners and native speakers. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I want to buy a new phone. Make want, buy, and phone strong. And let to a new be quick and light. Another one. He needs to catch the next train. Stress needs, catch and train, and let to the next be soft and fast. Excellent. The more you practice this rhythm, the closer your English will sound to a native speaker's. Now let's practice using rhythm with a longer sentence. Repeat after me. I'm hoping to visit my family this weekend and then I have to finish my work. Stress hopin', visit, family, weekend, and work. The other words should be softer and faster. Do you hear how it flows? This is the natural rhythm of English. Another feature of native English is the use of phrasal verbs instead of longer formal words. For example, instead of arrive, many speakers say show up. Instead of research, they say look up. Instead of return, they say give back. These phrasal verbs make speech more natural and relaxed. Let's practice some phrasal verbs. Repeat after me. I need to look up that word. She didn't show up for the meeting. Can you give back my book tomorrow? Don't give up. Good. These are exactly the kinds of phrases that native speakers use every day. Now let's talk about expressions of agreement and disagreement. Native speakers rarely say just yes or no. They often add small words to make their responses sound more natural. For example, instead of just yes, they might say absolutely. Or instead of just no, they might say, I'm not so sure about that. These small additions make your English feel authentic. Practice with me. Repeat after me. Absolutely. That's so true. No, I'm not so sure about that. I don't really see it that way. Exactly. Excellent. Adding these natural responses into your daily speech will make you sound much more like a native speaker. Now, let's move on to reactions. Native speakers often show emotion with quick phrases like, you're kidding, that's incredible, or, oh no. These words don't add much meaning, but they keep conversations alive and natural. Let's practice. Repeat after me. You're kidding. That's incredible. Oh no, are you serious? How cool. Perfect. Practicing these reactions will help you respond more naturally in real conversations, and people will feel that your English has more life and emotion. Finally, let's practice putting many of these ideas together in one longer piece of speech. Repeat after me. So, the other day I had to look up some information for a project and I almost gave up. I'm not so sure I did it right. But then my friend showed up and helped me figure it out. Are you serious? Yeah, it was incredible. Excellent. This little story has reductions, phrasal verbs, Lincoln words, and natural reactions. Exactly the elements that make English sound native. Remember, the goal is not to copy perfectly every sound that native speakers make. The goal is to add the rhythm, the flow, and the natural style into your English so that you feel comfortable and confident. With practice, these habits will become automatic and step by step. Your English will sound more like a native speaker's. One of the biggest challenges for learners who want to sound like native speakers is thinking in English instead of translating. Translation slows you down and it makes your sentences sound less natural. Native speakers don't stop to think of every grammar rule while they speak. They use chunks of language, ready-made phrases, and expressions that come out automatically. For example, instead of building a sentence word by word, they might just say, to be honest, or believe it or not, or it is what it is. These are chunks, and once you learn them, you can use them without thinking. That is how you build fluency. Let's practice some useful chunks together. Repeat after me. To be honest, believe it or not, it is what it is. That's a good point. I'll keep that in mind. Excellent. These short chunks will save you time and make your English sound smooth, just like a native speaker. Another powerful tool for sounding native is mastering common collocations. A collocation is a natural combination of words that usually go together. For example, native speakers say, take a break, not make a break. They say heavy traffic, not strong traffic. These natural combinations are part of the rhythm of English. Let's practice some collocations. Repeat after me. Take a break. Keep a promise. Catch a bus. Save time. Heavy traffic. Fast train. Deep sleep. Hard work. Very good. Using collocations like these will make your English sound instantly more natural. Now let's talk about how natives use intonation to show feelings. For example, when they are surprised, their voice goes up. Really? When they are certain, their voice goes down strongly. Of course, when they are unsure, the voice might stay flat or rise slowly. Maybe. Intonation is like music, and it tells the listener more than words alone. Practice with me. Say with surprise. Really? Say with certainty. Of course, say with doubt. Maybe. Say with excitement. What a great idea. Excellent. The more you practice these changes in intonation, the more expressive and native like your English will become. Another important point is how natives naturally shorten and smooth out phrases when speaking quickly. For example, instead of what are you doing, it becomes what you doing. Instead of did you eat yet, it becomes jeet yet. These reductions are not sloppy. They are part of fluent, everyday English. Let's practice reductions together. Repeat after me. What you doing? Jeet yet? Give me a second. Let me know. I'm going to think about it. Want to join us? Excellent. These are the small details that give you the rhythm of native conversation. Now, let's practice with longer sentences using reductions and natural flow. Repeat after me. I'm going to call a friend. Want to talk to him? What you planning to do after you finish? Let me know if you need a hand with that. I gotta finish this report before I can leave. Perfect. Practicing with longer sentences will train your brain to use these forms automatically. Another way to sound like a native is to use everyday idiomatic expressions. Idioms are short phrases that carry a meaning different from the individual words. For example, bite the bullet means to do something difficult you've been avoiding. Once in a blue moon means very rarely. Speak of the devil means the person you were just talking about has appeared. These idioms are common in daily English and help you blend into natural conversations. Let's practice some idioms. Repeat after me. Bite the bullet. Once in a blue moon. Speak of the devil. On the ball. Get the hang of it. Good. Now let's say them in sentences. I had to bite the bullet and finish my work. We only see each other once in a blue moon. Well, speak of the devil. Here's Tom now. She's really on the ball with this project. It's hard at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Excellent. These idioms will give your English the color and style that native speakers use all the time. Listening is also a big part of learning to sound native. The more you listen to natural English, the more you'll catch the way words blend, the intonation, and the rhythm. Listening passively is good, but listening actively is even better. Active listening means repeating what you hear, copying the tone, and paying attention to details. Here's a short listening and speaking exercise. I'll say a short paragraph and you repeat after me, copying the rhythm and intonation. Ready? Last night I was so tired I almost fell asleep on the couch. I ended up just going to bed early, which was a good idea. I feel so much better today. It's amazing what a little sleep can do. Excellent. Practicing like this every day will train your ears and your mouth at the same time. Another detail that makes a difference is using fillers naturally. Fillers are small words like, you know, and like they don't carry much meaning, but they give you time to think and make your speech sound more real. For example, instead of saying, I saw a movie, you might say, so, you know, I saw this movie and it was pretty good. It sounds more casual and natural. Practice a few fillers with me. Repeat after me. Um, Let me think. Well, that's a good question. It was so strange. Good. Don't overuse fillers, but adding them occasionally will make your English sound more authentic. Finally, let's combine everything we've practiced in this section into one fluent piece of speech. Repeat after me. So, I had to bite the bullet and give my presentation. I was so nervous. But, to be honest, it went really well. I think I finally got the hang of it. I only do it once in a blue moon, so I was pretty proud of myself. Excellent. This little paragraph uses idioms, fillers, emphasis, and reductions. All the elements that make your English sound natural and fluent. Remember, speaking like a native is not about imitating perfectly every sound. It's about building natural habits using chunks, collocations, rhythm, intonation, reductions, and idioms. The more you practice with these tools, the more confident you'll become, and soon your English will flow smoothly, just like a native speaker's. When you are working towards sounding like a native speaker, one important skill to develop is learning how to keep the conversation flowing. Many learners stop after giving a short answer, but native speakers often add a little extra detail or emotion. For example, if someone asks, "Did you have a good weekend?" A learner might say, "Yes, I did." That's correct, but it sounds short. A native speaker might say, "Yeah, it was great, thanks." I just relaxed at home and watched some movies. It was exactly what I needed. This extra detail makes the answer sound natural and complete. Let's practice giving extended answers. Repeat after me. It was fun. I went out with some friends. It was okay, a little busy with errands. Really relaxing. I didn't do much at all. Excellent. Adding one or two more pieces of information makes your English flow more smoothly, and it gives the conversation more life. Another useful feature of native English is how speakers soften their opinions. Instead of saying something too directly, they often use phrases like I think, maybe, kind of, or I feel like. For example, instead of saying this idea is bad, they might say, I feel like this idea might be a little difficult. Or instead of that's wrong, they might say, I see it a little differently. These softening phrases make conversations sound more polite and natural. Let's practice some softening expressions. Repeat after me. I feel like it's a bit too late. Maybe we could try another way. It seems kind of complicated. I see what you mean, but very good. Practicing these will help your English sound more respectful and closer to the way natives speak in daily life. Now let's focus on another area, fluency in describing daily routines. When native speakers talk about their routines, they use a lot of contractions and reductions that make their speech sound relaxed. For example, instead of I am going to the gym, they say I'm gonna hit the gym. Instead of I do not have time for lunch, they say I don't have time for lunch. Let's practice describing a simple routine together. Repeat after me. I get up at 7:30. First thing I do is check my phone, then I'll make some coffee. I don't usually eat a big breakfast. I'm out the door by 8:30 and on my way to work. Great. These sentences are simple, but they are exactly the way natives describe their daily lives. Another thing to notice about native English is how speakers use exaggeration for emphasis. Instead of just saying, I've told you, a native might say, I've told you a million times. Or instead of, it's cold, they might say, it's absolutely freezing. These exaggerations are not always literal, but they make conversations sound lively and expressive. Let's practice exaggerations. Repeat after me. I've told you a million times. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. This bag weighs a ton. It took forever to get here. Excellent. Adding exaggerations like these helps your English sound more colorful, just like a native speaker's. Now, let's turn to one more area: pronunciation of weak forms in English. Small words like to, of, for, and often become very soft in casual speech. For example, instead of saying a cup of coffee, clearly pronouncing every word, a native speaker might say a cup of coffee. Instead of I'm going for a walk, they might say I'm going for a walk, with for sounding almost like fur. These weak forms are part of the rhythm of English. Practice with me, repeat after me: a cup of tea, a lot of work, I'm going for a run, fish and chips. Did you hear how the small words almost disappear? This is natural English speech, and practicing these weak forms will make your speaking more fluid. Another important part of native like English is learning how to connect ideas in longer sentences. Instead of speaking in very short, separate sentences, natives often connect them with linking words. For example, instead of saying, it was raining, I took an umbrella, they might say, it was raining, so I took an umbrella, or I took an umbrella because it was raining. Let's practice some of these short responses. Repeat after me. Yeah. Yep. Nah. Nope. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Excellent. These small sounds and variations are very common in daily life. Using them makes you sound less like a textbook learner and more like a real speaker of English. Another area to practice is how native speakers naturally shorten questions. Instead of saying, are you ready to go? They might say, ready to go. Or instead of, have you seen this movie? They might say, seen this movie? These shorter forms are natural and quick, and they happen all the time in real conversations. Practice with me now. Repeat after me. Ready to go? Seen this movie? Need anything? Got the time? Finished yet? Excellent. These quick forms are exactly how native speakers check in or invite someone in casual conversation. Now let's look at something equally important: clarity. While reductions and short forms are natural, natives also know when to slow down and be clear. For example, if you're giving someone important information like a phone number, a native speaker will say each number clearly. This balance between fast, natural reductions and clear pronunciation is something you should practice. Let's practice with two versions of a sentence. First, the quick, casual version. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Now, the clear, careful version. I do not know what I am going to do. Both are correct, but knowing when to use each one is part of sounding natural. Another useful feature of native-like English is how speakers add small details that show emotion or attitude. For example, instead of just saying, that's a good idea, they might say that's actually a pretty good idea. Or instead of that's interesting, they might say that's really interesting. Words like pretty, really, totally, and actually add strength and feeling to what you're saying. Practice with me. Repeat after me. That's actually a great point. That's a really fantastic show. That's totally unbelievable. That's absolutely perfect. Excellent. These intensifiers add color to your English and make you sound more like a native speaker. Let's move on to stress again, but this time focusing on contrast. Native speakers often stress one word in a sentence to correct or emphasize something. For example, she wants to go in June, not July. The stress on June shows the contrast. Or I asked for coffee, not tea. The stress on coffee changes the meaning. Practice with me. Repeat after me. She wants to go in June, not July. I asked for coffee, not tea. He bought the blue one, not the red one. We need to leave at 5, not 6. Excellent. Practicing contrastive stress will help you sound sharper and more natural, just like a native speaker. Now let's look at how natives often use casual time expressions. Instead of saying, I will be back soon, they might say, be back in a bit. Or instead of, I will talk to you later, they say, talk to you in a bit. Even shorter, talk soon. These casual time phrases are very common. Repeat after me. See you in a bit. Talk to you in a bit. I'll be there in a second. Catch you tomorrow? Perfect. These are quick, natural ways to end conversations, and using them makes your English sound easy and relaxed. Another habit of native speakers is to react to stories with supportive sounds like uh-huh, oh wow, and hmm. These little sounds don't always carry words, but they show you are listening and engaged. Practicing these listening sounds will make your conversation smoother because they show natural interaction. Let's try some now. Repeat after me. Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Gotcha. Excellent. These are small but very powerful in helping you blend into native style conversations. Now let's practice with a longer piece of natural speech to bring all of these ideas together. Repeat after me. So, my friend asked me, you going to the party on Friday? I said, uh-huh, but I need to leave at 10, not 11. She said, gotcha. Want to ride together? I thought that was a really good idea. It's going to be fun. This kind of paragraph uses reductions, natural time phrases, supportive reactions, and intensifiers. All the elements that make English sound like it belongs to a native speaker. Finally, remember this. Speaking like a native is not about copying everything perfectly. It's about learning the rhythm, the shortcuts, the tone, and the natural responses. Every time you practice with real-life examples, every time you repeat these small but powerful expressions, you are training your English to flow. And step by step, you will notice the difference in your own speaking. One of the things that makes native speakers sound so natural is their ability to use short, common phrases that connect emotions to their words. For example, instead of saying, I am very surprised, a native speaker might say, I can't believe it. Instead of that is good news, they might simply say, that's great to hear. And instead of I do not understand, they might say, I don't get it. These short, powerful expressions give English its natural flavor. Let's practice a few of them. Repeat after me, I can't believe it. That's great to hear. I don't get it. That's a relief. It's a shame. Excellent. These kinds of phrases are exactly what you hear in casual conversations every day. Now, let's focus on how native speakers often make their sentences smoother with linking sounds. For example, when they say get on, the two words connect and sound like gay dawn. My own sounds like my yown. Because of it often sounds like because of it. These little connections are part of why English spoken by natives feels fast and flowing. Practice with me now. Repeat after me. Get on, my own. Because of it, turn it off. Check it out. Good. These are small but important details, and training your mouth to connect words will bring your English closer to native rhythm. Another part of natural English is using emphasis with small words like so, really, and totally. These words are simple, but they carry strong emotion. For example, I'm happy is clear, but I'm so happy feels stronger. That's weird is fine, but that's really weird sounds more expressive. Practicing with these emphasis words adds power to your English. Repeat after me. I'm so happy. That's really weird. It's totally fine. I'm super busy. Excellent. These emphasis words are common in everyday conversations and they help your speech sound less flat and more alive. Let's turn to another important point: fluency in storytelling. Native speakers often tell small stories in daily life about their day, about something funny that happened, or about plans they made. These stories are usually simple, but they include natural phrases, reactions, and emotions. Here's an example to practice. Repeat after me. So, I was trying to find this new cafe yesterday, and I got completely lost. At first, I was frustrated, but then I asked someone for directions, and they were super helpful. Honestly, it was a nice little adventure. Excellent. This short story has natural flow, emotions, and everyday details, exactly how a native speaker would tell it. Now let's look at expressions for showing agreement or disagreement politely. Instead of saying I agree, natives often say, you're right, or that's a good point. Instead of saying I disagree, they might soften it with I'm not sure I see it that way, or I have a different take on it. These softer responses sound more natural and friendly. Practice with me. Repeat after me. You're right. That's a good point. I'm not sure I see it that way. I have a different take on it. Very good. Using these softer, natural responses will make your English sound smoother in real conversations. Another feature of native English is exaggeration for effect. Instead of just saying it was crowded, a native might say it was packed, or this is heavy becomes this weighs a ton. These exaggerations add style and emotion to speech. Repeat after me. It was packed. This weighs a ton. I'm starving. I've told you a million times. Excellent. These expressions help you sound less mechanical and more expressive like a native speaker. Now let's focus on natural time phrases. Native speakers rarely say, I will call you in approximately 5 minutes. Instead, they say, I'll call you in 5, or talk in a bit, or I'll be right back. These casual time expressions are used constantly. Practice with me. Repeat after me. I'll call you in 5. Talk in a bit. I'll be right back. See you in a few. See ya. Great. These phrases are short, simple, and perfect for daily life conversations. Another detail to notice is how natives use little fillers and pauses to sound natural. For example, well, I think we should probably get going. Or, it's not always that simple. Or like, it was just crazy. These fillers are not necessary for meaning, but they give your English the casual rhythm of natural speech. Repeat after me. Well, I think so. That's true. Like, it was so weird. Actually, I don't know. Excellent. Using fillers lightly and naturally will bring your English closer to real spoken style. Finally, let's practice with a longer paragraph that combines all these skills: contractions, reductions, linking sounds, exaggerations, fillers, and natural phrases. Repeat after me. Well, I was starving earlier, so I decided to check out that new place downtown. It was like totally packed. I waited for what felt like forever. But it was worth it. The food was so good. I'll be right back there next week. This kind of extended practice helps your brain put all the small details together into one natural flow. And the more you repeat, the more automatic these habits will become. Remember, the key is consistency. Speaking like a native is not something that happens overnight. It happens little by little every time you practice natural phrases, every time you copy the rhythm of English, every time you let yourself speak without fear of mistakes. Over time, these details will shape your English into something smooth, confident, and natural. A big part of sounding like a native speaker is learning how to use common, everyday words in flexible ways. Native speakers often use very simple vocabulary, but they combine it in ways that feel natural. For example, instead of always saying very, they use alternatives like really, super, so, or even pretty. So instead of very nice, they say really nice or pretty nice. Instead of very busy, they might say super busy or so busy. These small changes make a big difference in how natural you sound. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Really nice. Pretty nice. Super busy. So busy. Excellent. Try using these in your daily practice instead of always saying very. It will give your English more of the natural feel that native speakers use every day. Another common feature of native English is using casual set phrases that don't follow strict grammar rules but are understood instantly. For example, you got it means I will do that for you. No sweat means it was not a problem. I'm on it means I am taking care of it now. These short, easy phrases are everywhere in daily conversations. Practice with me. Repeat after me. You got it. No sweat. I'm on it. Sounds like a plan. What's the catch? Excellent. These are the kinds of phrases that make you sound relaxed and confident, just like a native speaker. Now let's talk about how natives often shorten and relax greetings. Instead of always saying, hello, how are you? They might say, hey, what's new? Or even just, what's going on? These greetings are friendly, casual, and they are used more often than the formal versions. Practice a few with me. Repeat after me. Hey, what's new? What's going on? How's everything? Long time no see. Good to see you. Excellent. These greetings are part of the everyday rhythm of English conversations. Another feature of native English is the way speakers naturally express surprise or emotion with short reactions. Instead of saying a full sentence, they might just say, get out of here, or seriously, or that's wild. These small, quick reactions are very powerful in making your English sound natural. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Get out of here. Seriously? That's wild. That's unbelievable. Oh man, you're joking. Good. Using these quick reactions at the right time makes your English sound alive, and it shows that you are emotionally engaged in the conversation. Now, let's focus again on reductions and weak sounds because they are everywhere in native English. For example, did you often becomes did ya? Would you becomes would ya? Could you becomes could ya? What are you becomes whatcha. These changes might sound small, but they are part of what makes native English fast and flowing. Practice with me. Repeat after me. Did you get it? Would you mind? Could you do that? What you think? Excellent. Practicing these will help you understand natives more easily and also speak more naturally yourself. Another thing natives do is use friendly exaggeration. Instead of saying it was a bit loud, they might say it was deafening. Instead of I have a lot to do, they might say I'm swamped. These exaggerations are not literal, but they are common in everyday English. Repeat after me. I'm swamped. It was deafening. I'm freezing. This movie is hilarious. The view is breathtaking. Excellent. These expressions add humor and life to your English. Let's now look at how natives use softening phrases to sound polite or less direct. For example, instead of saying that's a bad idea, they might say, I'm not sure that's the best idea. Instead of, I don't like your plan, they might say, I have a few concerns about the plan. Instead of, you're wrong, they might say, I think there might be a misunderstanding. These softer phrases make English sound polite and natural at the same time. Practice with me. Repeat after me. I'm not sure that's the best idea. I have a few concerns. I think there might be a misunderstanding. Would it be possible to? I was hoping we could. Excellent. These expressions are useful not only for sounding native, but also for sounding respectful in conversations. Now, let's practice longer sentences that combine these elements. Repeat after me. Hey, what's new? I'm so swamped at work, but the weekend was pretty relaxing. Another one. Did you hear about Mike? He's moving to a new city. Seriously? That's wild. And another. Don't worry, I'm on it. No sweat. It'll be done in 5 minutes. Excellent. These examples are full of the little details that create native-like English. Finally, let's do a full fluency exercise with rhythm, reductions, fillers, and expressions. Repeat after me. My week was like totally crazy. I was so swamped with work, I thought I'd never finish. But, I finally got it all done. Honestly, I'm so glad it's the weekend. I'm just gonna relax. This kind of extended practice is what brings everything together. Contractions, casual phrases, fillers, rhythm, and emotion. The more you practice chunks like this, the more automatic they will become and the closer you will sound to a native speaker. Remember, the small details are the secret. Oh, it's not only about grammar or vocabulary, it's about rhythm, reductions, reactions, and the natural way people speak. By adding these details into your daily English practice, you will step into the flow of native speakers. And little by little, your English will sound smoother, more confident, and more real. One of the last but most important habits to master if you want to sound like a native speaker is comfort with everyday small expressions. These are words or phrases that natives throw into conversations without even thinking, but they give the language a relaxed and natural feeling. For example, instead of always saying, I understand, many natives simply say, got it or makes sense. Instead of you're welcome, they might say, you bet or my pleasure. Let's practice these short forms together. Repeat after me. Got it. Makes sense. You bet. My pleasure sounds good. Excellent. Using these quick, natural replies makes your English sound more authentic in daily interactions. Another important part of native English is how often speakers use expressions of uncertainty or thinking words. For example, they say, well, or I guess, or kind of, or sort of, when they are not completely sure. These words make speech sound more relaxed and realistic because people rarely speak in perfect, complete sentences all the time. Practice with me. Repeat after me. Well, I'm not sure, I suppose so. Kind of, not really. I guess that's okay. Maybe. I'm on the fence. Excellent. These expressions help you add a casual tone to your speaking, and they make you sound more natural when you are thinking aloud. Now let's focus on how natives naturally use little phrases to close conversations smoothly. Instead of ending suddenly, they say things like, okay, well, I should get going, or anyway, I'll let you go, or talk to you later. These phrases make the ending of a conversation sound friendly and natural. Repeat after me. Okay, I should get going. Anyway, I'll let you go. Talk to you later. It was great chatting. Later. Perfect. Practicing these will help you sound relaxed at the end of conversations, just like native speakers. Another important feature of native English is rhythm in longer sentences. Native speakers naturally stretch some words and shorten others, giving their sentences a music like flow. Let's practice with a longer sentence to feel this rhythm. Repeat after me. We were planning to go for a hike on Saturday, but the weather looked bad, so we just saw a movie instead. Stress planning, hike, Saturday weather, bad, saw, and movie while letting the smaller words flow quickly. Excellent. This is the rhythm of natural English. Now let's practice another long sentence with natural rhythm. Repeat after me. Next week, I have to finish a big project, send a bunch of emails, and prepare for a meeting on Friday. Excellent. With practice, this rhythm will start to feel natural to you. Another key to sounding like a native is using little words to show attitude. For example, obviously can show something is clear. Basically is used to summarize. Honestly adds truth or emotion. Natives use these words all the time. Practice with me. Repeat after me. Obviously, that's not right. Basically, it's a simple idea. Honestly, I think it's great. To be fair, it was a difficult question. Frankly, I'm tired. Excellent. Adding these small attitude words into your English will help you sound more expressive and natural. Now let's practice storytelling again because it is one of the best ways to bring everything together. Listen carefully. So, I tried a new recipe last night. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a disaster. The instructions were kind of confusing and I almost gave up. But I kept going and basically it turned out to be delicious. Obviously, I was very relieved. Now repeat after me slowly and then again a little faster. Great. Stories like this are full of reductions, natural expressions, emotions, and rhythm, all the pieces of native English. Finally, let's focus on confidence because the truth is even native speakers make mistakes, hesitate, and use fillers. What makes them sound fluent is that they keep going without worrying too much about being perfect. Fluency is about flow, not perfection. So, if you want to sound like a native speaker, the most important step is to practice every day, stay confident, and let English become a natural part of your daily life. Practice a final fluency exercise with me. Repeat after me. My journey isn't over, but I'm making progress. My English feels more natural and my confidence is growing. I know that consistent practice is the key to sounding like a native speaker. Excellent. Saying this to yourself often will remind you that progress is about consistency, not perfection. And there you have it. The secret to sounding like a native isn't a perfect accent, it's the rhythm, the connections, and the confidence you bring to the conversation. You now have the tools that native speakers use every single day. But learning is one thing, doing is another. So here is my challenge to you. Pick just one technique from today's lesson. Maybe it's using gonna instead of going to, or trying a natural reaction like no way, and use it in a real conversation this week. That's how real progress happens. If this lesson helped you crack the code, imagine what else you could learn with us. Thank you for practicing with me today. I'm Elena. Stay confident and remember, you're not just learning English, you are becoming a natural English speaker. I'll see you in the next one.